Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome to Manor Lords. This has been years in the making and I am incredibly excited that I get to show it off to you, and not only that, that we finally get to play. So first and foremost, welcome to Manor Lords. If you don't know what it is, a quick overview: this is a medieval city building strategy game. I was provided a key by Hooded Horse. Now I am associated with Hooded Horse. If you want to know more about what that means, you can certainly check out the video in the description of this video itself, just to give it an overview. But regardless, here we are, and we can finally play and show off all the good things. And I can tell you right now, with well over 40 hours of gameplay that I have played myself, this game is absolutely fantastic, and we're going to take it nice and slow. So first, what we're going to do is I have chosen my portrait. This most represents me, 100% tired old grizzled man who's seen a lot of crap. But also, I've been able to upload my own personal logo as my coat of arms, which is a really cool feature. I'll explain how to do this in a guides video, so be sure to check out the channel, subscribe to this channel to be able to see that in the future. But regardless, here we are. We have tons of options that we could do from here, but I'm going to use my main logo for this one. And right here we have our game setup. So a little bit different here. We could have three options. We have a Rise to Prosperity, which is a completely peaceful scenario. We have Restoring the Peace, which is kind of your middle of the ground, normal difficulty as it were. And then On the Edge, grow your city and raise forces as quickly as you can. They're pestered by raiders, and undefended settlements will quickly perish. Now, I do really like this one. I've heard it is absolutely brutal. I haven't tested it myself. So what we're going to do rather is we are going to work on this. So we'll have a domination. We have to eliminate all of the other lords. Currently, there's only one at early access. By the way, can't believe I haven't mentioned that yet. This game is in early access, so that's something to consider as you're reviewing this footage, is that you are seeing not perfect content. This is not a full 1.0 release. This is early access. Anyways, domination. Off-map adversary. This is the AI opponent. He's located off the map for now. Now he will control 2 regions and bring his soldiers. What we're gonna do, we're gonna do present. So he'll bring his soldiers and when challenged, but we're gonna set the aggressiveness to aggressive. And this means that he may press claims towards us at will. So we're gonna have to kind of push up against him pretty daggum good. Now, a single raid every 2 years, we're actually gonna turn that to frequent. Possibly less than a year between each raid. This is going to be very punishing for me because I want that war experience to be more frequent in the game as I build. And to be honest, I do think I could possibly balance out having a good number of people and fighting against them consistently. We are going to have 2 raider-free years before the raiders start coming, but after that, they are going to start raiding a lot. And then initial bandit camps, we're just going to have 1 at the time. We'll have 2. Can I have 3? I could do 4. We're gonna do 3, and I'm gonna tell you a little bit of a secret why once we get to things. And then they'll stop spawning after 5. So again, this is a very aggressive military focused campaign, and that's what I'm hoping. Maybe a little bit different than other people are playing, and that's fine. We're gonna start in spring, so that way we have all of our available deposits. We have availability to start farming early. I don't recommend it, but we also have rains. So that's something to consider. Standard that we will get armaments after we build a storehouse and 5 residential plots. We'll get to that as well. Residential requirements, we're keeping as balanced for now because I want to make sure that we have essentially the fairest thing in terms of city building and that it isn't unbalanced. And then we get an average impact on population and growth for our approval. Now we could do tolerant or low penalty. We're not going to worry about any of that. And then right now we only have an early access map. Not a big deal, but it's going to be really good. So what we're going to do, we're going to start right now. I can't believe I actually get to record this and say this sentence. Let's get to it. A cinematic entry if there ever was one. Oh, I'm so excited. A new message. Build up your town, your manor, and when ready, press claims towards regions owned by your opponents. Once the claim's been pressed, be ready for battle. So we're going to claim all of our opponents' regions. That is the goal. And this is what we start with. Our humble little town. And, oh, this is great. No, this is awesome. All right, so what we're going to do here, we're going to take a little look around and figure out where we are going to start. We can see that we already have 1, 2. We should have 3 brigands. That's okay. I mean, that's totally fine. No worries there. But we're going to look and see. So right now, this is our starting region with a cute little 3-way intersection here. Our homeless people's tents. And we have some berry deposits. We have a wild animal deposit. And that is a rich deposit, which means it has double the amount that it normally would. And we're going to utilize that because it's going to get us some great food right off the bat. But it's also going to get us some hides right off the bat that we can then utilize to level up our settlement quicker. We do have a rich deposit of stone. Stone, I don't think can be replenished at any point, but it just means we have double the amount that we normally would. And then we have a decently solid iron deposit. You really want a rich iron deposit. Like, this would have been a better start, to be completely honest. But regardless, we could expand into it into the future. And that's what we'll totally do. So we're going to go and we're going to rename this to Havocsville. There we go. And if you have any names that you would like, I will focus on the YouTube members that are currently on the channel to name those regions if we expand. All is well and good. But now for some first steps. Now, these first steps are pretty crucial, and they will kind of set the tone in many ways on how and when and where you will expand and all of those good things. Now, you don't have to start here at all. You can start anywhere on this region. And so that's what we're going to do. What I'm going to start working on is building almost some sectors of my village that maybe are broken up a little bit, have residential plots in a little more organic way that are closely tied to where people work, rather than having like a central hub and having people walk out. So in this instance, our wild berries and our wild animals are here, and we're going to work on those. We're going to build a hunting camp. Yeah, we're going to actually, should I build it right off of the road? Probably not. Let's go ahead and build a small road over here as well. We're just going to build just a little one, just like right here, like nothing too crazy, enough to where we could get a couple of plots of land afterwards. And we're going to put our hunting camp and we're going to put our forager hut right there. It's going to be a solid place. What you don't want to do is you don't want to over harvest these areas in terms of forestry, because that could be quite detrimental and cause your berry areas to go away. And then we're going to do that. I'm actually going to go ahead and delete this. I want to remove that. There we go. And we could do things right here. Am I lucky enough to have a well here? I am. That's awesome. So we're going to put a well here, and we're just going to kind of make that the no, we're going to make this. There we go. Marketplace will be the center there, and we can build a well right across from it. That's totally fine. Our next steps, because we do have the homeless tents, which will house us for a while, we're going to rock and roll with our logging camp, and we can definitely go ahead and start expanding this road. And I'm going to go ahead and hit play while we do this, because they will start taking the hitching post and our ox, and they'll start automatically bringing things over here to make it all well and good in the neighborhood. Not only that, but it'll just allow us to start building in slow mode, our ×1 mode, pretty quickly and effectively. What we're going to do next, we're going to build our logging camp there. And once that's done, we will be able to set kind of a perimeter of where they'll harvest wood. So that way we make sure that they don't, again, cause these guys to go into extinction. So we don't want that whatsoever. And they're already on their way. Super fantastic. Mucho grande. So we have our logging camp. We have our 2 primary sources of food. Now, one thing I do have to mention here is that that's at least 1 family, 2 families, 3 families. We only have 5 families to work with, and you need at least 1 of them in order to construct things. So we only really have room and availability for 1 more family, and I'm not quite sure what we're going to do, but what we do need to think about right off the bat is building a granary. I would say probably decently close to all the hubbub. We're just gonna drop a granary. We'll drop a granary on this side, and we'll drop a storehouse on this side, and then oh, I don't have any wood yet. That's fine. So one of the things that I recommend right off the bat is building a hitching post, building a second hitching post, so that way you can get another oxen and kind of jumpstart your economy that way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna let this roll for a little bit. in cinematic mode, and you're going to have a really good time with this. It's something we'll use frequently throughout this Let's Play, simply because it is cinematic as heck, and I really enjoy it. Now, you'll see it in kind of fast forward time, which is fine, but it still looks really good. And just like that, there we go. All right, well, we're gonna go ahead and assign someone there. We've already assigned the hunting camp a new message. I've heard of your renown. I only seek to defend my rights and honor against those who wrong me. Hope you'll not judge me by the rumors and slanders that some may spread. Hill de Bolt von Bernou. We're not gonna write back to him. We're just gonna end the conversation. That's just the AI Lord saying, hey, by the way, these are my 2 regions. Just leave me in peace. What people are saying isn't true. And now we kind of have to sit and wait for just a little bit longer. All right, so our logging camp is finally finished. And this is what I mean. So what we can do is, one, we could permanently have a livestock set there, but we won't for now. What we can do is we can set our limits here for what we want them to harvest. So we're going to go and have them harvest all of this for now. And they will only harvest wood from in there. Now, that's super duper important. So it makes sure that, again, I have to overemphasize, we don't want this getting harvested really ever, but certainly not right now when things are still going a little young. Now we are going to speed things up a little bit just to kind of get things started. There's our saving, and a granary is going to be very good for us to get up our feet, because we already have almost a full storage of berries, and we have a full generic storage of hides and meat that we really need to get dumped and figured out. So we're gonna do that. That's gonna be super duper helpful. And then we just have to wait just a smidge until our log boyos get done with their stuff, so we can start building some burgage plots. All right, so we do have 5, which means we could build a couple of burgage plots, and that's what we're definitely going to do. Now, there's a couple of things that we need to think about when we think about our burgage plots. One of them is, well, they cost 2 per, but determining your size of your burgage plot is very crucial. Like, I cannot overstate it enough how crucial it is. Now, you may think something like this is a bit ridiculous, and to be quite frank, it is rather huge, but it fits fantastically here. But we are going to do it, and I'll give you an indicator of what this means. So this means that, one, we can have a backyard extension here, which allows us to either produce a garden or chickens for eggs, or goats for hides. We're already making that from the hunters' camps. And then this indicates that I can actually add another family in. So we're going to build both of our burgage plots here. And the reason why we're doing that is I'm going to have gardens here, which is, the granaries right down the road. And that's going to allow us to get some passive food as we start prepping for the end of the year, because once things get a little hairy, we're going to be doing that. Not to mention, we still need to build 5 burgage plots overall, simply so we can get up to the next level, and so we can get our armaments to be able to raise up a militia and start tackling some of these bandit camps. And what we're going to start seeing is bandit camps start taking things. So it is a little bit of a priority to start getting your militia kind of up and running right off the bat. I'm super excited for it, but we kind of have to wait once again for these things to build. But thankfully, we have cinematics for that stuff. And our burgage plots are finished, and they look great. My word, I haven't said this yet, but like the cinematic feel of this game is mind blowing, and it looks so good. And I actually absolutely love the normal setting. Because yes, it is incredibly slow. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know of a game that's really quite this slow paced in terms of a city builder because, well, you can be a little bit impatient waiting for your city to go, but I love this. I love sitting here and looking at this dude and watching him skin a deer and then coming over here and seeing potentially the house where he might be living. Maybe not. I don't know. But just being able to see that is great. Okay, and so here we have our burgage plots. And our burgage plots are going to allow us to see everything about the people that are living in them. So for instance, right now, in order to get to a level 2, we need 4 logs, which we have a ton of logs or timber. But we also need church, and we need a fuel stall supply, which is where that market comes in. We need 2 types of food, and we need clothing as well. Armaments are not necessary for upgrading, but it does give you a breakdown on who is living there and what of the militia they encompass. One of the coolest features about this game, in my opinion, is the fact that I could choose to have certain people live close to their places of work. Now, automatically, these people are foraging, and they're right next to their work, and these guys are hunters, and look at that. So they are already by default where they need to be, but I could reassign them if I wanted to. So that's really awesome. But even more is we have backyard extensions. And again, this is where we could get vegetable gardens, we could get chicken coops, or we could get goat sheds. Vegetable gardens are the only thing that really benefit from super deep extensions. They will need to utilize that space, and the more space that they have, the more they will work on it. And by the way, that includes apple orchards. So we'll probably get to that in a few episodes, who even knows. But for right now, we're gonna get vegetable gardens, and I'm gonna expand the living space, which doubles the maximum family count, and that's gonna be even better. Now that we have the timber, we are gonna kind of focus on our residential space here and kind of make this a little bit of an industrial sector. So we're gonna build probably, we don't need the super deep extensions here because I think I will kind of go with eggs on this one. But we're gonna go right like this. And one of the other really awesome features of this is the ability to be like, I drew my space, and this is the maximum number of houses I could have, but I want to reduce it. So I could build 4 individual plots here, or I could build 3, have a backyard extension, and have an additional family each. So essentially what I've done is I've taken the 4 families I would have gotten in, and I can get 6 families in here. So that's what I'm going to do. Not only am I doing that because it gets me more families, but I only need 3 more houses before we level up. So that's going to be really, really cool. Really, really exciting to see. And we can already see here that Andres, our ox, is already moving people forward and starting to build. That is fantastic. Now, we do have a lot of things that we can't do at the moment. This is, again, a very early game sort of system. But what we need to also work on regarding our industry is we do need a woodcutter's lodge. We're going to build that like right next door, and they're going to have that same workplace area that the logging camp does, but I tend to have it a little bit separate so they're not they're not cutting down things too much. Now, what I also want to do is I imagine we'll eventually kind of get, we're going to eventually get trade rolling. So I kind of want the traders to be able to, so we're definitely going to provide them with an access. Now, they'll naturally do it, of course, but this will give them kind of a reason to come in and come through our town. This is a bit of a messy situation over here, to the point where I may even move the hitching post. We're going to move a hitching post over to here, and then we are going to build another one. As I mentioned, we're going to build another hitching post. So that's going to be good. We'll order another oxen. We have our food stall up and running. We have our granary, which is slowly getting food. We will need to put people in this eventually, but I want to focus on building first. And then, oh my word, I love being able to go into cinematic mode. I absolutely love cinematic mode. You can see there, they are quite literally digging up the land to have their gardens. So this isn't just some baseless mechanic that spawns stuff. It at least allows you to see and get a feel and grasp, a little bit of immersion, that while the husbands are over here chilling by, harvesting some deer and doing all the stuff like sitting on a bench. Carl, what are you doing, dude? You got a deer to skin. Mrs. is over here hoeing the ground up. Whoa, that was a little bit janky, as well as any other family members, and is able to make that. But look at the cinematicness of this all. It's super great. We're gonna again chill here for a little bit as we watch this get built up. Well, I say that. We have the ruler's army is sided. The ruler, or the other AI lord, he's just gonna come around. He's gonna start taking over bandit spaces, which really sucks because I don't have the ability to do that yet, but it's fine. We will be okay, I promise you. But it's a little bit unfortunate overall. We're gonna go ahead and do that so they can start prioritizing it. I don't know where this guy's going. Oh, he probably is going here. Okay, I gotcha. That makes sense. We're gonna come back over here though. We're gonna get in our spot. We're gonna steady things up. And we're gonna wait for it to build. All right, we have officially leveled up. We received the 5 level 1 burgage plots, and we're rocking and rolling. A new message. A strong militia is paramount to the survival of any settlement. Luckily, a shipment of weapons has just arrived. Now be able to create your first militia. However, you'll need more weapons to equip them. No worries. So what we have here is we have 20 spears and 20 large shields. That's enough to at least start a spear militia. And you'll notice right here, we have a maximum of 36 men. Eventually, once we get more people moving in, that number will go up and it will eventually max out. Now, one thing I do want to mention here is that this is not a war simulator first and a city builder second. It says a city builder first. You will have a maximum of 6 armies, including a lord's retinue if you choose to build one, and that includes mercenaries. So consider that. We will need to import weapons or make them ourselves, and we'll be able to pick and choose how our armies are built. But these aren't going to be massive battles. These are going to be smaller tactical battles, similar in vein to think of like the Last Kingdom in terms of some of the smaller engagements. The ruler's army just keeps coming in, and it makes me nervous. It makes me very nervous because he does have quite a few people, but he is going after those brigand camps, and he's gonna make a pretty penny off of it too. It's a little unfortunate, but again, there's not much we can do. What I am gonna do though is we don't have enough wealth. Perfect. We're gonna go ahead and expand these, and then they are going to start working on this to get that so I can bring in another dude. I'm trying to look and see. It looks like, and here we go, we have a taste of what they are doing. They defeated the bandits, so they're just going to pillage the camp. Yep. And then we don't have any more bandit camps. Hopefully they'll start spawning a little bit because I do need to utilize those. Long story short, you can utilize the bandit camps to start jump-starting your revenue stream, because if you pillage it and you utilize it right, it'll actually go into your regional wealth. So while we're kind of chilling here, waiting for other stuff to build, a quick overview of what we're looking at, because I haven't started that yet, and I apologize. I will do an ultimate beginner's guide like I usually do on the channel, so that'll be more in depth. But an overview, this is everything about your region. We have unassigned villagers and families. That means they don't have a job, and by default, they will do construction. We have assigned villagers. Obviously, they have jobs. Living spaces, we have an approval rating. Right now there's still homelessness for the time being, and this kind of culminates slowly over time, the positives and the negatives. There's going to be positives from food variety, there's going to be positives from clothing and the church and things like that. There's going to be negatives from starvation, from recent events, from dead people lying around, things of that nature. We do have a good public order, nothing wrong there. Regional wealth is specific to the region of Havocville. Also, look at that. That's still so good. We have our livestock. All of this is dependent inside of this region here, and then the number of months before supplies run out. So we have 16 months worth of food, and we have 6 months worth of fuel. Super good. We have our city itself, the town of Havocville, and because we leveled up, we actually do get a development point, which can be used in a lot of ways. We have, which way do we want to go is the real question. I do tend to like the idea of charcoal burning, because then we can get deep mining, which enables us to dig deeper with the iron mine. But I'm not sure that that's where I want to go. I do think perhaps where I want to go is a heavy plow. It allows for significantly faster plowing of large fields. Or sheep can graze on pastures slowly multiply. There's so many good things we could do here. There's so many things. We could even go down into basic armor making. That's actually a really, really good one as well. I think we may go heavy plow. Let's take a look at what is available for farming in the area. We're not going to farm this year. Okay, Immer, which is basically grain, actually has a really good chunk over here that we're going to take advantage of. Flax has a very small, good area, so we may actually build a handful of flax fields right here or anywhere else where it may be a little bit beneficial. Barley is our biggest negative, but we do have a space over here for that. Rye fields is not something we're going to worry about right now. It is kind of a later game thing. We can't even get rye until we get orchardry. And we're not going to do orchardry because it takes 3 years to culminate with. So we're not going to worry about that. That would be useless in my opinion. But we could do a heavy plow. I think a heavy plow would be great. Establishing a trade route always costs a maximum of 25 regional wealth. That's super awesome as well. I'm not a big fan of the passive. I don't think that's super necessary. And maybe it's just me. We're going to go with the charcoal. It makes refueling twice as efficient. In wintertime, your fuel consumption doubles, which means they need 2 wood for everything. So if we can kind of mitigate that, that would be really, really good for us. All right, here we go. A charcoal kiln converts 1 firewood into 2 charcoal. So you do still need, you still need a woodcutter to be able to get the firewood, but at least they make it into stuff instead, which is great. We do have new mercenary companies. We can't touch them until we get more personal treasury, and that's a long ways away. Yeah, no bandit camps left. Good job. You kind of ruined me. That's okay. No worries there. But what I do think we can start doing is we can start employing our granary. And what this is going to do is going to allow us to be able to start taking from this so they can start doing their job more effectively. And I think that's a very, very good thing to have done. And then these guys are going to double their space. And I'm super excited for it. And there we go. Easy enough. We do now have space for more people to come in and do their own thing, which is super fantastic. Now we just have to get our approval rating up. We are no longer homeless. These, yes, so we do need to go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead and add a person here so they can take this stone and put it away where it belongs. And yes, I know we need someone for that. But look at this. Look at it. Oh my word. They're gonna make a lot of really good veggies, and I'm super looking forward to it. So we need to make sure, there we go, look at this. He even gets them into a thing, and he makes sure they're all well and good. This game is just flippin' flappin' fantastic. Now we do have 8 timber. We could go ahead and build like another set of burgage plots here. And we could still do the same thing. I want to make sure we have a little bit of space just in case we decide we want to go around that hitching post. And again, it's a little bit awkward, but I do love how it looks. I'm okay with the awkwardness. I'm quite awkward myself. There we go. You just never know what's going to happen there, and I'm okay with it. That been built? It has been built. Let's go ahead and order another ox. We have enough left, just enough. And that's going to give us two options of oxen rummaging around and doing all the stuff and things. Super helpful. I love it. I love just utilizing the space given to me. Like, that's kind of one of my favorite parts. Now, what we want to be careful about is we have plenty of room for expansion now. We don't want to overexpand too quickly because it will suck up too much food and stuff, and we don't want that to happen. What we do want to happen is we do want a woodcutter's lodge. We are going to set that for a rather large area on the opposite side. And you'll notice here they've already cleared a good chunk of space. We have plenty of timber now, so there is no need to worry there. And there's also not really anything else that we can do. Now you'll notice we have one ox over here, Andres. Can I not rename the cow? Oh, boo. That's all right. But regardless, he's there to help expedite certain buildings that may need to be made and things like that. Again, you'll also notice that once the Spear Militia come in, you'll also notice that my coat of arms is my logo. I absolutely love that. Like, that's such a cool feature. And it's such a small thing to have to worry about, but also that I love worrying about because it looks so daggum good. All right, so a couple of things here. We have the upgrade complete for this boyo, which is fan-stinking-tastic. But we do also now have our charcoal kiln, which actually looks really... I've done a little bit of research, seen a few videos and stuff about charcoal making, and I mean, this is pretty spot on. Just looks so good. What you doing there, Mr. Oxen? Now, I know that you can totally go through and be as third person, but I have heard that it is a wee bit buggy, and so I don't want to crash my game right now because I'm actually in a really good spot with everything considered. We need to get our approval rating up. Now, you can see here we have a market food variety, which means that there is a lot of food being served. There is a lot of variety in food being served. Fuel, not so much. We need to really work on that. That's something we are getting to work on. Not much else that can be done at the time. Again, the beginning's a bit slow, so I'm going to super fast forward just a little bit to see what we can do. All right, and it isn't too long until a bandit camp was discovered. Oh, perfect. Brigands, let's do it. That's super awesome. Now, our 10 men should honestly be enough. I really hope it is, because we really need that bandit camp to jumpstart a bunch of things. So we're going to go ahead and rally them. There we go. And they're going to start gathering. I want them to be at full strength before we come in and do anything on that part. But yeah, the bandit camp typically has 16 soldiers in it. Of course, they're all brigands, so they don't really do much. But here is our little ragtag group of soldiers. Now, if you've ever played anything like Total War, you'll know that this isn't like a super huge army. And again, we can only get to 36 of them. But I would like to counter by saying, for one, if you are a Total War fan, you totally need to play the shield wall mod, if it's still available for Total War Thrones of Britannia, because that is exactly what this does. It's exactly like this. Your armies are a fraction of the size that Total War normally does, and it makes battles much more engaging and just much more meaningful. Now, of course, in this instance, if these men die, they lose their jobs. Jobs are lost. Houses are pillaged and destroyed, potentially, and things of that nature. So it's not really a good thing if they do end up dying. They will come back, so that's not too bad of an issue. But we're going to make sure that we at least have a little bit of the hill, and then we're going to engage in our first little skirmish. Oh, I'm so excited. Battles are satisfying in this game, to say the least. Now, what we're actually going to do is we're going to do a formation of 5 and 5, make it at least 2 ranks deep. And again, these battles aren't meant to be thousands and thousands of troops in Total War style. This is meant to be close combat. It's meant to be down and dirty. We're going to counter the charge. And now we're pretty much just going to wait it out, because it's going to be a battle to the end for sure, in hopes that we make it. They're doing great. At least I think they are. Yeah, I think we got it where they're already losing some. Yeah, this is going to be good. We've lost one as well. I think they're going to lose theirs faster than we are ours. A little bit of a melee fest. There we go. A little bit of the upper hand. You can see we're pushing them back. And it's actually going to kind of come down to the wire. There we go. Brilliant. Okay, well, they lost some people. We're going to go over here. We're going to raid the camp. And also okay, so we're far enough away where the bodies don't affect people, which is good. But we definitely are going to have to come in and start working and doing things a little bit more better in that area. Perfect. Now, anytime you destroy bandit camp, a little tip here. Right now, we want to send the resources to the nearest area, because when we do that, we gain a lot of regional wealth. So we're going to bring these guys back. We're going to disband them. And we have, again, there's going to be text threads like this because it's early access. And then we're going to disband the unit. They're going to rebuild with what tools and materials they have. We're going to regain some population people. And we will be right as rain. Ironically enough, because it is indeed raining. All right, nothing new can be done now. Well, that's not true, actually. There are lots of things that can be done. We can get some chicken coops, because we already have plenty of hides. Let's go ahead and get some more. There we go. And then eventually, once these get built, we can start focusing on other things like generating some hides from some goats and stuff. But right now, we're kind of at our max people. So we need to make sure that we are better than we could be otherwise. I'm going to go ahead and move them away from... We're going to do that, so that way they can start gathering stuff for the winter. I assume our woodcutters are wood cutting. They are not. We don't really have them working anything. I'm very curious about where you've been and what you're doing. Oh, you're actually probably part of the militia, I would imagine. Very nice. So now you should start being able to bring in some fuel. It is September, so we're starting to get a little bit of the cold, chilly season, and we really could use a bump in that regard. Now, we apparently don't have enough food and supplies. That's fine. We'll get there. It's not the end of the world. And again, what you want to be careful of is not to over-expand, because that could be a little more detrimental than even under-expansion, because you won't be able to feed everyone and do everything. Now, what we will do, we're going to go ahead and do some goat sheds there. We're going to do another chicken coop, and actually probably 2 chicken coops here. I think that would be very, very beneficial to get food consistently off the ground. Boom and boom. All right, so one of the things we do have to do is I did lose 5 spears and 5 shields. Now, what I wish would happen, and maybe perhaps in early access phase or whatever, you could start pillaging the armor off of the people, or I guess not re-pillaging, but taking the armor from your fallen soldiers and doing that. It doesn't. So we do need to start trading for that. We're going to go ahead and plop a trading post. You know what? Let's go ahead and plop it right here. I think this would be a good place for a church right here. So I think kind of having trading posts right next to that sort of industrial place would be a positive look on things. And this is actually the maximum that we're going to go ahead and build, especially in this first episode, because we just don't have the people rolling in because our approval isn't that high. If we were to go over to the help section, we could see, oh goodness, it is approval. So population growth will only really happen at its most efficient if approval is 75% or higher and the rate is 2 families per month. 50% or higher is 1 family per month. And if approval goes below 25, they start leaving. We want to make sure that doesn't happen. So right now, all we have is still a claim on homelessness, which doesn't really call us out in the ways that it could. And they give you this winter is approaching thing because, for instance, your berry deposits will stop being useful. They'll actually stop generating food, which is a good thing to know. And we have lots of food, just not quite so much in fuel. But I am also working on, right over here, a charcoal kiln. So we can start making that charcoal, baby. There we go. Our first family moved in. Yes. Heck yes. Welcome in. You moved in there. That's good for you. And now we have just like enough wiggle room. What do they need? Converts firewood. So the more firewood we have, the better off we are. So it looks like we have 1/4 the charcoal that we do firewood. I still don't know if we need to build more or add more people to the woodcutter's hut, or if we need to add more people to the charcoal. I'm going to go towards charcoal right now. And what did I pick over here? I did pick charcoal burning. That's right. Dirt to dirt. That's a good thing to know. We do have our trading post, which will start going up in just a tiny bit. We need to figure out what we're going to do with that. What are we going to sell? What are we going to buy? I do know we need to buy like bows and stuff, so that's really good. Let's go ahead and reject the 2 people in the charcoal, bring a guy over here, and then we're going to check out trade real quick. That's great. And so immediately we can trade stone and planks, all of the crops, all of the food, most of the materials. It's actually super helpful because we're going to go ahead and establish a trade route, and then we're going to export and say, I want to leave 10 there, which means technically I should make quite a bit of dough, which would be really, really good because, again, it allows me to expand just all that much faster. All right, and then right in the middle before winter comes, we are going to end our first episode. This has been great. I have absolutely loved every single minute that I have already played of this game. Every single hour. It's just so cinematic by default. I just don't see how you couldn't enjoy it. And I hope you have enjoyed the little bit of a preview that we've been going on, because I think we're off to a really, really solid start. We have a lot of our food foundations established. We need to make sure that our, oh yeah, we got 5 months worth of fuel, more than enough. Ladies and gentlemen, Manor Lords, oof, I am excited to show it off to you. And I hope you're excited to see more of this, because there will be more on the channel very quickly, all the way up leading to release, and hopefully even beyond. So if you enjoyed this video, thank you first and foremost to my members who have chosen to support the channel above and beyond anyone else. But if you're not able to, or you just came here suddenly, or you've been here for a while, you can give the video a like, you can subscribe to the channel, leave your comments in the comment section down below, and as well as future names of different people, because we can rename every single one of the people you're looking at right now. We can rename our regions. We can rename our Lord's Retinue, which will be reserved for YouTube members. But also let me know what you want to see. Do you want to see guides? Do you want to see a review? Do you want to see Let's Plays alone? All of the things I'm going to try and have the capacity to do in the midst of it all. But what I'm going to do is leave you with just 5 minutes of pure ASMR ambiance, so you can just get a feel on what Manor Lords has to offer and everything else therein. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I'll see you again very soon.
Why do I have to carry this alone?
Gave the old ox a handful of month-old grain. He spat it in my face and tried to carve me a new pickle.
Why do I have to carry this alone? This is heavier than it looks. We all know what that means, don't we? This is heavier than it looks. Bring this here, move that there, on and on.
You spat it in my face and tried to guard me a new nipple.
Cold. I'd rather be inside than snooping.
Gave the old ox a handle of the month-old grab. He spat it in my face and tried to guard me a new nipple.
Burn the house, that'll warm you.
We all know what that means, don't we?
Bring this here, move that there, on and on. Snow's pretty and all when it falls, but hell if it ain't just puss and mud after 10 minutes. It's heavy.
We all know what that means.
Snow's pretty and all when it falls, but hell if it ain't just puss and mud after 10 minutes. It's heavy. Why do I have to carry this alone?